If you clicked on this video, it's because somewhere, at some point, your emotions made a decision for you. Maybe it was an email you fired off at 2 a.m. Maybe it was something you said in a meeting that you replayed in your head for the next 3 days. Today, I'm going to show you how the most composed people in the world, the ones who never seem to lose control in a room, actually do it. And no, it's not about staying calm. It's not about breathing exercises. It's something almost nobody teaches you. And by the end of this video, you'll never react the same way again. But before I show you the technique, you need to understand one uncomfortable truth. The easiest person in the world to control is someone who makes decisions with their emotions. And if all you've ever learned is how to hide what you feel, that's not enough, because hiding an emotion and weaponizing an emotion are two completely different skills. Let me show you the difference. Part 1. Emotion was never the problem. Here's something nobody tells you. Your emotions were never the enemy. The enemy is timing. Picture a trader on a Wall Street floor. The market crashes, red numbers everywhere, and his first instinct is to sell everything immediately. The ones who panic sell in that first minute are almost always the ones who lose the most money. The ones who make it through, the ones who actually come out ahead, are the ones who do nothing for just a few seconds first. That's because the moment something threatens you, it's not your brain doing the thinking anymore. It's your amygdala, a tiny almond-shaped structure buried deep in your brain whose only job is to keep you alive. It doesn't care if you're right. It doesn't care about your reputation, your job, your relationship. It only cares about surviving the next 5 seconds. And a person operating from that state is not a strategist. They're an animal running on instinct. Here's the part that separates people who seem naturally calm from everyone else. They're not calmer. They just built a habit. Before they respond to anything that hits an emotional nerve, they insert a gap. Not 30 seconds, not a deep breathing session, just 3 seconds. 3 seconds where they watch the emotion happen instead of becoming the emotion. And that tiny gap is the difference between the person who controls the next move and the person who just handed control away. Part 2. The 40-second skill almost nobody learns. Now here's where it gets interesting, because knowing this is one thing. Actually using it under pressure is a completely different skill, and most people never get there, even after years of trying to manage their emotions. I'm going to give it to you in under a minute. The next time you feel anger, fear, jealousy, or humiliation rising in your chest, do this immediately. Name it. Not out loud, just in your head. Say to yourself, "This is anger." That's it. That one sentence does something almost mechanical inside your brain. Neuroscientists call this affect labeling. The simple act of naming an emotion activates the prefrontal cortex, the logical, reasoning part of your brain, and it turns down the volume on the amygdala, the part that was about to make you do something you'd regret. Then ask yourself one question. If I say absolutely nothing right now, what actually happens? 9 times out of 10, the honest answer is nothing. Nothing happens if you don't respond in this exact second. That single question is often the only thing standing between you and the kind of decision you'll be replaying in your head at 1 a.m. 3 weeks from now. Think about a job interview gone wrong. The interviewer says something dismissive, almost insulting, about your last position. Your chest tightens. Every instinct says, defend yourself. Right now, prove them wrong. But the candidate who gets the offer is very rarely the one who reacts in that instant. It's the one who takes the 3 seconds, names the feeling, this is embarrassment, and asks, what happens if I just answer the actual question instead? That candidate looks composed. They look like someone who can handle pressure, because they can. Part 3. The real danger. Other people know your buttons before you do. But here's the real danger, and this is the part most people never see coming. Controlling your own emotions isn't enough, because it's not just about you anymore. It's about everyone around you who already knows exactly which buttons to press. This is going to sound strange the first time you hear it, so let it sink in. People who try to make you angry don't actually want your anger. They want your control. Every single time you react, You're handing them a piece of information they didn't have before. You're teaching them exactly how to operate you. Think about a coworker who needles you in every meeting until you finally snap in front of everyone. He didn't win because you got angry. He won because now everyone in that room, including you, knows that particular comment is the lever that moves you. And levers, once discovered, get pulled again and again. This is why the real skill was never about suppressing what you feel. It's about controlling what other people get to see. As long as nobody around you knows exactly what can shake you, nobody around you has any real control over you. That's the entire difference between an average person and someone who operates like an actual strategist, in a negotiation, in a courtroom, at a poker table, in a family argument that's been repeating itself for 15 years. Think about professional poker players for a second. A hand goes badly. They lose a pot they should have won, and their face doesn't move. Not because they don't feel it. They feel it just as much as anyone else at that table. But the moment their face shows it, every other player at that table now has information they can use against them for the rest of the night. So they don't perform calm. They practice it, the same way you'd practice a jump shot, until it's not a performance anymore. It's just who they are at the table. Part 4. Let's bring it together. So let's put this together into something you can actually use starting today. Rule 1. Before you react to anything, give yourself 3 seconds. Not to calm down, just to let your prefrontal cortex catch up to your amygdala. Rule 2. Name the emotion in your head and ask yourself the one question that stops almost every bad decision before it happens. Does this actually need a reaction right now? Rule 3. Never show your hand. Whatever can shake you, keep it off your face. Because the moment someone knows what can move you, they now have a permanent lever they can pull whenever they want something from you. You've just learned how to control your own emotional reactions. But here's the honest truth. That alone isn't enough, because the people around you almost never show you their real emotions either. The coworker with the fake smile, the friend who says, "I'm fine," through their teeth, the person across the negotiating table with a perfectly neutral face. And until you learn to read what's actually happening underneath that surface, you're always going to be one step behind, reacting to a performance instead of the truth. If you want to learn how to see exactly what's going on behind someone else's expression, without them ever telling you, subscribe to this channel right now, because in the next video, we're going straight into that exact skill, how to read the emotions people are actively trying to hide from you.